Hi, Mark Phillips here. Welcome to another video wine blog. This is a crazy one. This is a video blog about how to correct wine that tastes terrible. Now, of course, you're thinking, why would you want to have a terrible? Why would you buy a terrible wine? Of course, no one buys a terrible wine on purpose. Not yet. You might after this video. But generally, you want to try to find a wine that you like on its own. But every so often, you buy a wine that just doesn't taste good. Don't throw it down the drain, because you're going to learn today how you can fix that wine and it can be really tasty. And don't cook with it. That's a different subject for a different video, but that's not the way to go. But after learning about all this, you may want to consider buying inexpensive wine that doesn't taste very good, because you'll learn how to fix it. And if you're buying wine for $1.50 a bottle, box wine, 5 liters divided by, how many milliliters are in a bottle, it's like $1.50, $1.75 a bottle. And it may not be that good, but you're going to learn the principles of how to fix any wine. I bought 5 wines. They suck. Really, they're terrible. I was surprised at how bad they were. But by adding some stuff to it, they all tasted good. Not just tolerable, but good. It's crazy. What I had on hand was lemon half, fresh squeezed lemon juice, strawberries, I have it all nice set up here, sugar, and blackberries, plus other wines to add to it. I can mix and match the wines. And don't be afraid to add white wine to red wine. Sure, it's kind of goofy. You're going to get a different color, a rosé, but that may be the answer, and you'll be surprised to see what happens. Now, let me preface this all with that I love dry wines. I'm not a sweet wine lover. Okay, I do like dessert wines, a Trockenbeerenhaus Leysa or a Great Sauterne and stuff. But generally, I don't like sweet table wines. I like them dry. So, even though there's going to be some sweet activity going on right here, you're going to see how by mixing things together, you don't get a lot of sweetness out of it. So let me start with the first one, the Sutter Home Pinot Grigio. It's over here on the end. I've done a lot of pre-advanced work right here, so it's already been kind of done. But let me just taste this again and remind me, because I shudder to think about tasting any one of these wines by themselves. Whoa, man, it doesn't calm down at all. It's like sucking on a lemon. It's like putting this lemon in your mouth. It is so tart. The acidity is so high, it surprises me how this cheap Pinot Grigio can be so high in acidity and have very little fruit flavor to it. So, what do you do? What do you add to this wine to calm that acidity down and get some fruitiness out of it? Well, one of the basic principles in wine is acidity balances out sweetness. A lot of wine geeks, they love the German Rieslings. And most of the time, German Rieslings are sweet. But because the acidity is so high in the wine, it balances out that sweetness, and you really don't taste the sweetness. You do, but it's in perfect balance with the acidity. And likewise, the reason wine geeks hate white Zinfandel so much, which we're about to have in a little bit, is because it's cloyingly sweet. There's no acidity to it. It's like drinking sugar wine, and it's no balance. This is just the opposite of the white Zinfandel. The Pinot Grigio is all acidity, no sweetness. And so what do? You add sugar. You take a pinch of sugar right here, just drop it in there. You play around with the quantities. You always add a little bit, and you can always add more. And let's try it with a little sugar in it. Now, the sugar is going to balance out the acidity. It's not going to make the wine sweet because there's so much acidity in there. The acidity is going to absorb that sweetness. And it should just balance it out just right. Let me give it a try. Yes! That's so much smoother. My face isn't scrunching up from the acidity because the sugar is balancing it out. Now the wine's in much better balance. It's still lacking a little fruitiness, though. In other words, all that thing was just acidity. It's just a glass of acidity. Now that acidity is calmed down by the sugar, now I would add some strawberries. I've cut some strawberries up here. All this is, you can have around your house. A few strawberries in the glass, and swirl it up. Let the strawberries interact with the wine, and taste it. And that's a nice wine. The strawberry adds some fruitiness to it. Yes, it's not the fruitiness that you would usually get in a Pinot Grigio, but who cares? It's fruity, and it tastes good, if you like strawberries, that is. There's not a lot of strawberry flavor. You don't want to put that much in there. You don't get any sweetness out of it, but it's all just to balance out that wine. And this Pinot Grigio, this glass of wine, or a little bit left, sample of wine right now, is really nice. It's a nice white wine that I would be happy to drink on any given night. Maybe not a Friday or Saturday night, but on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday night, I'd be happy with this wine right here. I'm going to have some more. Nice wine. That's a nice wine. So whenever you have a wine that's a little bit too high in acidity, add sugar to it. A little sugar, and maybe the strawberries if you have them around. But sugar is the key thing to balance out acidity. Remember that for cooking, everything. It's a principle in life. All right, let's move on to the Chardonnay. Here we have Chardonnay. This is the Golden Gate Chardonnay. God awful. This wine sucks beyond all suckage. Let me try it. I hate to do it, but it is just no acidity. It's not an acidity problem, but there's the oakiness to it is so off. It's clear that they couldn't have used oak barrels to make this. It's too cheap for that. They must have put oak chips in it to give it the oak influence. And there's no fruit to it at all. It just tastes like a 2x4 that's been sitting out, a moldy 2x4 or something. It is just terrible. Really, it's bad wine. Bad wine. So now what do you do with this? You really can't balance out the oak, but you got to cover up that oak or work it out somehow. And the way to go is lemon. There's no acidity in this wine, so it's out of balance no matter what, because the wine's got to have some acidity. So you just take a lemon, squirts, there we go, a few lemon drops in there, not a lot. Just play with it right there. And we haven't had any fruit yet, just the lemon. It's a miracle. I swear it's a miracle how this wine's changed. With just a little bit of lemon juice in there on this crappy Chardonnay, it is a very pleasant wine. It tastes good. It's mind-boggling. So just a little lemon kind of brings out the fruit to it. Kind of like when you put salt on food, it brings out the flavor. This brings out the fruit in the wine, although it doesn't have a lot, but it's enough to kind of cover up that weird oakiness to it. So it's a very imbalanced wine right there. I've tried it with the strawberries. I didn't put any sugar in there. I just had the lemon, and the lemon makes it taste the best. A very pleasant wine, just a few squirts of fresh lemon or lemon juice, out of the bottle. Who cares? It will balance it out. So here's this crap Chardonnay. Really, I was surprised how bad this one was. And with a little lemon, it's fine. Now, my favorite, white Zinfandel. Yeah, baby. We all love white Zinfandel. Yeah. Sugar water, sugar wine. It's just pure sugar. Well, we already know the principle. What are we going to do? We add acidity. You have to add acidity to it to balance out that sweetness. So let's squirt some lemon in there. And why am I smelling the one? I don't know. And see, it's a huge difference. I think I add a little bit more. It's a huge difference, but I'd add a little bit more because the sweetness is still there. This is really like sugary. Let me try it again. There, perfect. The acidity, the lemon brings down the sweetness. You barely get any sense of sweetness to it. Now it kind of tastes fruity, not sugary, not sweet. And it's very pleasant, but it's still wimpy. It's a wimpy wine. So what I did was, and hold on to your socks here, take some of my Gnarly Head, the Gnarly Head Zinfandel, This is a Old Vine Zinfandel, real popular wine, a good value, around $9 a bottle, while all the rest of these are under $3. And this Zinfandel is terrible to me. Well, people love it, but it is so powerful. The fruit is so extracted. It's like, whoa, it's monster wine. It's like getting hit in the head with a board. It just bowls you over with high alcohol, major Zinfandel fruit. It's over the top. It's too much. It's like you're chewing on the wine, not drinking it. It's so strong. So add a little bit of gnarly head here to it. Yeah, okay, it's a little darker in color right now. But when doing that, it got much more flavor to it now. Not a lot. That's probably even a little bit too much. Just a little bit, and it gives that white Zinfandel much more power now. And there's no sweetness to it, and it's a very pleasant wine. I swear, I promise. I don't care. I'm not selling anything here. I'm just telling you the truth. It is really tasty. I'd be happy to drink this wine. It's very nice. White Zinfandel converted into something you can drink. Lemon for sure, because you got to balance out the sweetness. And then to build up that wine a little bit, give it a little more oomph, you put some red wine in there, and it's a beauty. All right, the next one. I know this is wild, but it's true. That's what's so cool about it. The next wine is the Golden Gate Cabernet. The same Golden Gate out of California. You know, Golden Gate is the biggest bulk wine supplier, I think, in the nation. They sell to Gallo and to what's a big one? Oh, my brain's Bronco, that makes like the $2 chuck. I think Bronco's one. Anyway, they sell all that stuff. They're huge. They're monster size. And they export more bulk wine to other countries than any other producer in the United States. So it's a big operation. And that's what they made their money in, selling juice to other wineries. But, you know, a couple of years ago, they started branding their own label, Golden Gate. And it's terrible. This is like drinking cough syrup. It's like medicine, the Golden Gate Cabernet. Just god-awful. You know, usually the inexpensive wines, like the box wines from Franzia or Almondin, they're not that bad. You know, they're not that good. But they're not like, whoa, but these are. They're just so bad. I don't want to taste this, but I'm going to. Yes, there's just absolutely no fruit to it. And it's just got that medicinal taste. Ugh, it's terrible. So what do you do with that? Well, believe it or not, on this one, I after experimenting with all the stuff, I thought I'd try, adding a better wine to it. And that didn't work. In fact, it didn't taste good at all, adding another wine. Although that's always a good move, I think, is to add other wines. Pardon me, I tried adding blackberries to it, because, more fruit. Maybe that would help it out. No, the blackberries and some sugar was okay. Sugar by itself, no. But what was the real winner? I tried adding white Zinfandel to it. I don't know. Because the gnarly head in the Zinfandel was good, the white Zinfandel. And of course this is red Zinfandel in the white Zinfandel. Maybe that's why it married so well, because it's the same grape, just a different process of making it. But the real winner here was the adding some strawberries to the Cabernet. I would never have guessed this. I thought the blackberries would have been the deal. But putting some strawberries in there and a little bit of sugar. Sugar! Come on! What's sugar going in for a red wine for? But a little bit of sugar in there. And again, whatever is in it, it absorbs it. So I wouldn't have guessed this. But through trial and error, I came up with it. And just using a sample, you can get kind of the ratio. And that's a beautiful wine. That's a tasty wine. Strawberries and sugar in a Cabernet. I don't know. It was news to me. But that's really a nice wine right now. I don't know how to explain that even. I guess the sugar Being absorbed by what in the Cabernet and the strawberry? Okay, you get some better fruit out of it because it really was very little fruit. It was all that kind of medicinal thing. So okay, the strawberry, but why wouldn't the blackberries be a better choice? Cabernet blackberries, oftentimes black fruit. I don't know, but the strawberries and a little bit of sugar in that Golden Gate Cabernet makes the wine taste really good. You serve it to anyone and they'd be happy with it. Really, I'm not kidding. Now comes the last one. I don't know what principle we can learn from that. I can't help you there. I don't know what to say. It was trial and error. So maybe you can think about strawberries and sugar for a red wine that is junk. And maybe that'll work for you. I haven't tried on other red wines. I haven't tried on the gnarly, for instance. I guess I could. Or did I? I've got my notes out of here. Oh yeah, what I had also, I wasn't just trying these things, the sugar, blackberries, strawberries, and lemon. I got some Concord grape juice. I have it right here. Concord grape juice, Welch's, Concord, they make Concord wine, it's a grape they make wine out of, and it's got no sugar in it, 100%, it's organic, whoa, that helps. And then white grape juice. I thought adding to some of the white wines, the Pinot Grigio or the Chardonnay, but the taste of this stuff is terrible. This white grape juice. Nothing was good with that. So the gnarly head, way too strong. Certainly a better wine than the other four in how it's made, but it's just so powerful. That's just not my style of wine. How do you tame this puppy? How do you do it? I tried adding the grape juice. No, they completely clashed. The blackberries, it's okay. Putting a few blackberries in there, mixing it up, yeah, it was okay. It smooths it out a little bit, kind of tames it a little bit. Strawberries, no. Strawberries were not a good match at all. Yet when you describe a Zinfandel typically, you might say raspberries usually, but also strawberry you get out of a Zinfandel. So, wow, the strawberries just didn't work. So I don't know what to do about that. What was the winner? Come on, you listen to this. What was the winner? White Zinfandel. By adding white Zinfandel right out of the bottle to it, a little bit of white Zinfandel, I would say like a 1-to-4 ratio. 1 part white Zinfandel to 4 parts of gnarly head Zinfandel, a favorite of many people, is just enough to calm it down and make it so much better in balance. Yes, that's the way the wine should taste. A little bit of white Zinfandel in there. You don't get the sweetness. Again, the sweetness, the cloyingly sweet stuff from white Zinfandel is sucked up, absorbed by the powerful gnarly head Zinfandel, and you just get a fruitier wine without that huge extraction. It's a really pleasant wine to drink right now, not knocking you over the head with power. It's perfect. God, I never would have thought of white Zinfandel. I guess, because it went that way, I guess it'd go this way, but wow, white Zinfandel added to a red wine. I had a Petite Syrah, too, the Rosenblum Petite Syrah. I don't have it out here, I don't know from the table. A $15 bottle of wine, another powerful wine. Wow, big, powerful wine. Petite Syrah usually is anyway. And I put some white Zinfandel in there, and it was perfect. Another beautiful match to calm that baby down. Who would ever have guessed? But it works. So what's the point here? Well, that acidity and sweetness balance each other out. Otherwise, you're just kind of looking at, I don't know what, but experiment with what you have around the house. And if you just use a little bit of wine, let's say white Zinfandel. Who's ever going to drink white Zinfandel in the first place? Well, you will if you add gnarly head Zinfandel or something like that to the wine and some acidity. But if you don't use it, just squirt the gas in there, the Vineyard Fresh, whatever that we sell on the website, and that keeps that bottle fresh for a long period of time. If you just want to add a little bit just for fixing wine, it's just wild. Another thing you do for blending wine, which is completely opposite of the taste of the wine, is to put non-alcoholic wine, 50-50, or whatever combination ratio you want, with a regular wine. So instead of drinking a wine of 14% alcohol, now you're drinking a wine of 7% alcohol, just over what a beer would be. So you can drink a lot more wine without getting looped. So another way to blend wine. Blending, we think nothing of putting salt and pepper on a dish that's served to us at a restaurant. If it comes out and we don't like it, we change it. It's okay with food. Why can't it be okay with wine? It is in my world. I'll change any wine. I'll mix this with, I'll do anything to fix a wine if I don't like it, to give it a try. And at more times than not, it works. You can always add something. You'll find something around the house you can add to it to make the wine taste good. So don't throw those lousy wines down the sink. You can buy cheap wines now and add stuff to it to make it taste good. Wow, what a lesson. That's all. See you later. Bye-bye.